Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to the suddenly disreputable Vaughn Manor. Yes, and I'm going to be talking to you about the reading event everybody's been waiting for. Yes, a reading event that should be coming to you in a plain brown wrapper. I am, of course, talking about Garbaugust. Yes, in August, a whole bunch of trash is coming your way with Garbaugust, a reading event full of garbage fiction, created, of course, by the king of trash, Crimin'Olly, who reads this crap all the time. He's decided to share it with the rest of us, to get us all to read garbage. So Crimin'Olly has created this event, although there are a dirty dozen booktubers who are doing it in total. I linked them all down below. The names have been changed, to protect what's left of their dignity. You can check them out if you so choose. But a bunch of announcement videos should be coming up today. I think Crimin'Olly's should be coming up today. It's his event after all. It probably came out already, but I'm not sure. I'll check. Well, no, I won't, because this is just a recording from the past. Future Mike will check. Future Mike will check, and if Garbaugust, the announcement has not shown up yet from Crimin'Olly, Future Mike will just put this up anyway, because that's the kind of bastard he is. So, Garbaugust, a stinky, stinky reading event. I can already hear the flies buzzing on this one. So, Crimin'Olly has got a big rake and raked up 4 different piles of trash. One stinky pile a week. In week 1, we will be reading in this trashy reading event books that focus on sex and violence. Trash that goes out of its way to be explicit. As opposed to all that classy trash. So sex and violence in week 1. Well, don't have a lot of sex in week 1, I don't think, but I do have some books that I think promise some violence. I think there's going to be some violence in these books. I'm just guessing. But I'm going to start Garbaugust with Blade. Blade gets pride of place. Blade by David Robbins. David Robbins, who wrote a whole bunch of trash and is still writing trash as far as I know. He writes all kinds of different trash. He writes Western trash. He writes post-apocalyptic trash. He writes men's adventure trash. All kinds of trash from David Robbins. He created the Endworld series of post-apocalyptic novels. This is a spin-off from that, featuring a character from those deathless classics. Blade. I know there are a bunch of different Blades running around comic book and paperback land. But this is, this Blade who dresses so fancy. Blade, in his post-apocalyptic wasteland, will have adventures, and this is his first adventure, First Strike! And this is my first strike for Garbaugust. Blade, First Strike. So I've got a couple other books. These are short. It shouldn't take too long to get through these masterpieces here. So the second book I'm going to be reading is more Blade. You can't stop with just one. So I got number 2, Outlands Strike. Outlands Strike! I'm going to be hitting them all in the outlines with my big fancy stick, says Blade. So Outlands Strike. That's book number 2. I think there's going to be violence in this. This promises some violence, but we'll see. It could be. No, I'm pretty sure. Next, we have a very macho book. I feel more macho just holding it. This is The Survivalist Total War by Jerry Ahern. Ahern. The Survivalist. Now, there is a bunch of these books. Crimin'Olly, being a great scholar of classic literature, is reading through this entire series, The Survivalist. He has had good things to say about it. So I thought, you know what? Since I'm wading in the trash anyway, I'm going to start reading this series too. The Survivalist. Look at this guy. I'm a survivalist. Look at me. This looks a little trashy. And I'm pretty sure that in a book called Total War, we'll get some violence. It's just a guess. But, I think it's a fair guess. I think it's a fair guess. So, that's week 1. Now, week 2 is vintage trash. Classy trash, man. This is vintage trash. Trash published before 1980. Way back in time. Trash published before 1980. Now, the first book I'm going to be reading is a book I showed the other day. Andrew Offutt, who was the king of paperback porn, but also wrote science fiction and some other stuff, wrote this masterpiece, Operation Super Miss. Operation Super Miss. The super agent of the 70s who makes Wonder Woman look like Nancy Drew. So this is a super agent doing super agent things in her mini skirt. In her mini skirt, this woman's seen some action, it says on the back. So yeah, Operation Super Miss. Now you'll notice all of these are physical copies. I was going to read some stuff from my Kindle, but then I thought, you know what? You should be seen reading this stuff, you know. So I will snap some photos of me in public places reading these trashy books where everyone can see me, because I've got no shame. Obviously, I'm doing this event. So that's the first one for the vintagey trash. The next one is a book I wanted to read as soon as I saw it, about a superior world, the world without men. The world without men. They had forgotten what men looked like. You know, I wish I could. So, The World Without Men by Charles Eric Maine. The world without men. The world of 5,000 years from now. A world with only one sex. Women. So, The World Without Men. I don't know. It looks a little bit trashy. A little bit. I don't think they've got a Penguin Classics edition of this. Not yet, anyway. So, yeah. Now, the next one is some old-timey trash. Now, this actually is trash written by my favorite author of all time. This is my favorite author of all time, who wrote many, many things that were not trash. This book is straight up trash. In fact, these stories were originally published in Spicy Adventure Stories back in the 30s. Now, Spicy Adventure Stories was a pulp magazine full of spicy trash. Spicy trash. Now, this is, of course, Robert E. Howard's She-Devil. Robert E. Howard's She-Devil. And I have read some of these before, and they are straight up garbage. They're straight up trash. My favorite author of all time, but even he knew he was writing trash when he was doing this. This was a quick buck right here. Robert E. Howard's The She-Devil. Now, this was probably going to be taking me right into the third week. The third week is Anything Goes. Anything Goes. So anything goes. Whatever you want, as long as it's trash. So it's anything you want as long as it's trash. Now, the next couple books are trash. So we've talked a lot about those of us who are in or doing Garbaugust, about movie adaptations. Or adaptions, one of those. And whether those are trash. And the answer is sometimes they're trash. I'm pretty sure they're always trash. Movie and TV adaptions. But I'm choosing one from a movie that was itself trash, about a big mutant bear and the horrible trouble it causes. I'm going to be reading Prophecy, the novelization of Prophecy by David Seltzer. A story of unrelenting terror by the author of The Omen. So this is trash. Thank you again to Justin from This Just In. He actually picked up this trashy book for me, and now I finally have an excuse to read it. If you don't read this during Garbaugust, you're probably never going to read it. So Prophecy, if you haven't seen this trashy movie, you should watch it. There is an epic battle with a raccoon. There's lots of cool stuff in this movie, and I'm hoping that the book is even half as good. Now, this next book I've got a while ago from one of my favorite channels, Coffee, Cats, and King. He very kindly sent this book to me. It's cursed. It's a cursed book. I would normally be terrified of reading it, but you know what? It's Garbaugust. and anything goes. So I'm finally going to be getting to this masterpiece, Panzer Spirit by Tom Townsend. Now, the only thing I know about this book, and I could be wrong, but I think that this is about a cursed tank that was made from elvish metal. Metal that was created by elves or something. So I think that's what it is. So anyway, it's Panzer Spirit. Look at this. That's kind of a... Yeah, this could be trash. You know, I'm just guessing here. Panzer Spirit. I'm just guessing this book is trash. So Panzer Spirit. Yeah. So then we're going to be moving on to the fourth and final week. Trash that made you question everything. This is WTF, which stands for something. I'm not quite sure what, but it's trash that made you question everything in WTF. Now, this is a difficult one because it's trash that made you question everything about books that you haven't read yet. So I haven't read this book. Will it actually make me question everything? It's a tough one. Maybe just looking at these books that people will choose makes them question everything. But I'm actually thinking that the reading experience itself of this thing that I'll be reading next in the final week, I'll be starting it. I won't be finishing it because this is a monster. It's a monster, this last one that I'll be reading. It was originally published between 1845 and 1847, so it is classic garbage. By all accounts, though, this is a very influential book. It's a book that is spoken about all the time in books about classic horror and horror in general. But by most accounts, it's trash. It is also 667,000 words of trash. And so while I'm reading this, I might indeed be questioning everything. I might be questioning myself, why did I pick this up? Why do I want to read this book? Why? Why did I ever agree to join on with Garbaugust? I'm sure I'll be questioning myself about everything when I'm in the midst of reading Varney the Vampire. Yes, it is time, finally, to read both fat-ass volumes, both big double-columned volumes of Varney the Vampire, the old-timey Penny Dreadful, which, you know what, this is a lot of Varney. It has a lot of cool illustrations, though, from the old Penny Dreadful in here. But by all accounts, this is trash. But it's going to be fun trash. Look, there's old Varney now. He's causing trouble. So I'm going to become, in the course of this, intimately acquainted with Varney. Probably a little too acquainted. Yes, I might be questioning everything. Because you know I don't DNF a book. I was wondering, gosh, I wonder how long it would take Criminoli to read this. And then I was thinking, what am I kidding? He'd DNF this after the first page. You know, he's into the DNFing. If he doesn't get hooked by a book after the first 3 paragraphs, it's toast. But me, I don't DNF. So I'm going to be reading this whole damn thing and reporting back to you in installments. Because this is, it's going to take a while, guys. It's going to take a while. Probably the whole month of July. Actually, I'll be reading this, but we'll see. We'll see how quick I can tear through my final garbagey book. My final garbagey book. Man, it's hard to say that word. Okay, Garbaugust. Tomorrow, I'll be back here, and I'll be talking about a much more classy event. I'll be talking about June on the Range tomorrow. June on the Range is next month. Yeehaw. Okay, guys, I will catch you next time.